The importance of practicing fundamentals to advance in yoga and meditation practice. So very often, this is a common thing that people, neglect the fundamentals of, the science of yoga and meditation or spirituality practice, which involves very mundane things like ethical teachings and, being selfless and not speaking lies and not cheating and also certain austerities, rituals that you need to do. It seems like very menial and unimportant, and people don't want to, they feel they're above all this. And in this video, I'm going to discuss the importance of it from my perspective. And if you like the contents of my videos, please also remember to like and subscribe. This will be doing my channel and me a great favor, and I'll really appreciate it. And really, you'll be doing me a very great favor, by doing that. It's going to help, me and my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And more importantly than liking and subscribe, to at least share it, to one other person, right? This will greatly, help, with the reach, and it's going to probably help someone else, and you'll be doing your part of it. If everyone does a little bit, it's going to, help so many people, and you are doing in an indirect way a great favor and a great deed, right? And for those who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on the master level with telepathic healing capabilities. I specialize in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments, especially alleviating the adverse effects of involuntary Kundalini awakening. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. And in that period, I've learned under various masters from different schools of thought and different cultures over the decades. And to that end, I've gleaned out what I felt is more powerful and more effective and simpler, and created my own protocols adapted for the 21st century, making my protocols simpler, quicker, easier, faster, more time efficient, and results orientated. To that end, I've also now got students in over 100 countries, and um, my favorite protocol, which I love to mention always, is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which is super easy, and it's you'll I believe you'll feel a profound or a slight improvement and difference from before you practice it, and after 5 minutes of practice, feel some difference, calmness, centeredness coming upon you in just that 5-minute practice. You can download it for free from my website, yogawellness786.com, in exchange for subscribing to my blog. And also at my website, you can get more information about my services. Please remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. Again, my website, yogawellness786.com, right? So coming back to the fundamentals, you know, so let's give you an analogy. Someone like a motivational speaker, someone who's very famous that most of you could have heard about, is Tony Robbins, right? So he's got a huge crowd of people, and they're all waiting to be, and he's coming out to motivate them and get them all pumped up. And he's now didn't really have a good day. His car broke down, and he was in the hot sun waiting for the people. He was in the middle of nowhere, and they were delaying, to come to pick it up and send him, an Uber to get him, to this event that he's coming to. And on the way, the Uber, cheated him and charge him a sky high price, knowing that he's Tony Robbins and he's in a desperate situation. I'm for Tony Robbins, he's got the money, he's not going to cry to pay, $5 extra or something. But he feels this guy is ripping him off, and he feels, say, yeah, you're ripping me off, and and the guy says, nope, if you don't pay, I'll drop you off here, that type of attitude person. And then he comes at the entrance, the person security at the entrance refusing him to, because he left his ID in the car, right? And doesn't recognize the security. Don't know who stole me. Robert didn't want to let him to come to his own event without a ticket, and he had to argue there. And they had to call someone else to say they were to say who he is because he's coming through a back entrance and so forth, right? Highly secure. And he comes now, and then he comes in that bad mood. He trips on the staircase, and he hurts his shin very badly, and he damn messes, his clothing, that his shirt that he had, and that to quickly the wardrobe had to try. Someone had to arrange another shirt for him, and now he's coming to motivate. How do you think he's going to be feeling, right? And then he gets a phone call, and his partner, the love of his life, she says, "No, I'm sorry, but I couldn't tell you before, and I didn't know. I kept delaying. I have to tell you now. I actually am in love with someone else, and I'm leaving. When you come back, I will not be at home." And now he has to give the talk and motivate this crowd of people waiting to be pumped up. How is going to be? You have to be in the right. If you're in the wrong frame of mind for the event that you're about to go to, it's not going to be conducive, right? So you need to. So what he normally does, he pumps himself up. He does his breathing technique, and just before going on stage, he pumps himself up, and he's all so this thing, right? Conversely, I'm giving you the alternative example, right, where everything is positive and is ready, is pumped up, this thing. And then now you say, okay, are you ready, Tony? You can go. Yes, I'm pumped up now. I'm ready. And he's like talking to us. He's all pumped up, and he comes. Hi, hello, everyone. You know, he put himself in the right mood. So like that, the fundamentals like selfless service, certain austerity functions, certain rituals, maybe. But these are cleansing. The spiritual teacher. These things are not designed helter skelter for nothing. Sometimes my teacher will just tell you to go chop woods. You could, especially you go to the Buddhist monasteries, they may tell you to go in the field and bring woods every day, and you could be doing that for 5 years, and they're not giving you spiritual initiation, right? And you think, I never come here to, carry wood and clean the floors on a daily basis, right? They give you that, but they feel the teacher can see he wants you to do certain discipline practice because this helps to cleanse certain chakras in you, and imbalances that needs to come out with a discipline practice to break your ego. Because the ego is like the stumbling block. You need to break that, because when you go in the quantum level, it can be a huge problem, right? So these are designed to prepare you for what's to come, and what's going to come is going to be just like how Tony Robbins is like pumping himself in order to go there and go into a situation where you're going to now be involved in motivating on a higher scale, right? You're doing it on a small scale to yourself in the back of the stage, and then you're coming there, and then you're going to do it on a mass scale to everyone, right? So similarly, you're practicing like selfless service and helping others and being inclusive, and then when you experience the awakening of the quantum energy in you, the enlightenment experience doesn't come boom, the big thing, but it starts building in you, and then you become naturally inclusive, right? So you're putting yourself in the gear, into the right gear in the fund. So when you neglect the fundamental practices, these hits you back into, because they are like blockages in your energy systems, and they explode, and they will unclear anyway, but they will unclear so badly because you haven't prepared for the unclearing, and you never did most of the groundwork, right, in the fundamental level. So when you go on the higher level, it's going to explode, and this is where people have the adverse effects of the kundalini awakening, right? And they experience huge psychological traumas, and they have to invariably go through. Anyway, it's still going to clear out, right? There's still going to be something left there that you're going to have to spend some time going through some emotional turmoil. And typically someone who's been, a good example that I like to quote is who I call the father of kundalini yoga, is Gopi Krishna in 1967, when he wrote the book on the adverse effects of his Kundalini awakening. And, he took 4 years to recover from it. 4 years. Someone was practicing for 17 years before it awakened, right, professionally, and he learned. But There were some fundamentals that he didn't practice, right? He only did meditation, right? Primarily, right? And there were a lot of primary things that he did not practice, right? Which involved the fundamentals. So the fundamentals, you can go into, YouTube and or into Google and search like Raja Yoga. The first two levels are called Yama and Niyama, right? So there are certain ethical practices that you must refrain from. There's five things they should refrain from, five things you should do, like prescriptions, and try to follow this carefully, and seek the guidance of someone who is, advanced on this level to guide you in these practices. So this is going to greatly help you. So hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself.